Harvard Divinity School.
100 Years Rudolf Steiner, December 15th and 16th, 2025.
I will introduce our last panelist, Felicia Siemsen, who is a doctoral student in education at the Federal University of Paraná in Brazil, and whose research examines parental self-knowledge during the transition of infants into daycare and preschool. She currently works as a pedagogical and parental advisor in schools. So please welcome Felicia in our last panel presentation.
Hi, everyone. I would like to thank you. We present our work entitled The Process of Parent Self-Knowledge Experienced During the Induction of Infants, which is our research. And the problem question is, how is the process of self-knowledge experienced by parents as a result of adapting and starting very young children in daycare and preschool? The social justification is as an early childhood education teacher in the Waldorf School, as the first stage of basic education aims to fully develop children up to 6 years of age in their physical, psychological, intellectual, and social aspects, completing family and community action. The entrance into the stage of education has been a topic debate since the increase in demand for enrollment of very young children in Brazilian daycare centers and preschools. There is a growing number of mothers and fathers who continue their professional lives looking for alternative shared care from grandparents, family, aunts and uncles and professionals, education professionals, and the process of parental self-knowledge is fundamental for the quality of the work in the education institutions. So our academic justification, it can be seen that like children, parents need more attention during the transition of childcare in a more humane way. We examine differences in parental decision-making and the factors that influence child enrollment. The experience undergone by mothers and fathers in their communities can be shared through accessible circles expressing their cultural customs, through music, rhythms, and stories shared in the circles. But only one study we found with the perspective of parental self-knowledge process in the child's transition to daycare from the family philosophy of life. And our objective is to understand the process of self-knowledge experienced by parents based on the adaptation and starting of very young children in daycare and preschool. The literature shows us that the adaptation of infants as a process experienced in trust generates greater security for mothers and fathers separating from their child. The reception as a right for children and families respects social and cultural identities difference, as we show here at the figure. It's in China. When the grandfathers and parents enter, the body language was studied. But the collaboration in the reception process allows one to assume the parental role with less suffering for fear, anxiety, and pain. Shared care and the education practices strengthen child development and awareness among families. It can also be observed a significant absence of support network for low-income families in child development. The mutual construction of cooperation and collaboration actions in different environmental contexts affects your organization of collective preschool environment. And conscious parenting can only be established in an environment of respect and trust. And in self-knowledge, according to Rudolf Steiner, is a conscious, subjective, and objective experience of the dimensions of one's own actions, feelings, and thoughts. It is intimately related to the process of self-knowledge. Also, self-knowledge is related to the development of spirituality in the perspective of Steiner. The process of self-knowledge is based on Rudolf Steiner's cosmic worldview of the human being. The process is a holistic self-knowledge, considering the anthropological human development in subject areas as willing, feeling, and thinking. It emphasized the conscious attitude of the human being, beginning with the observation of thinking, feeling, and willing in relationship to the child. The importance of cultivating conscious relationships between adults as imitated by children concerns valuing the conscious interiority of human soul and education as a path to a social transformation. It is in the course of daily life that the faculty of thinking can be transformed, with the intention of enabling everyday thinking itself to become available, to encompass the condition to a freer and more universal mode of thought. The initial difficulty in apprehending thinking as a process becomes internal form of thinking that can be observed from within one's own interiority. And also the experience of postmodernity is characterized by indifference in the relationships experienced by individuals towards the world, and hence the importance of self-knowledge. The individual landscape and the collective environment of contemporary times can be studied based on Steiner's theory of human freedom. The aim is to create conditions for parents at school to, open quote, recreate a family environment in partnership with the school. And finally, self-knowledge can be fostered at daycare and preschool when the educator puts him or herself in the place of the others, like he or she becomes a partner in family support, social support, providing experiences with new meanings of community. And so important to listen carefully to this narrative spoken by children, parents, teachers, can be researched as an expression of human soul based on holistic approach. Open quote, a human being who behaves empathetically develops a kind of mirror, the art of observing the soul in which the I recognize myself.
So the method. This is a qualitative study using the micro-phenomenological approach. This is aligned with 4E cognition, enactivism, yes, and 4E cognition. The study took place from August to December 2024 in São Paulo and Curitiba, Brazil. One private school located in the southern region of the city of São Paulo, state of São Paulo, southeast of Brazil, and one private preschool located in the western region of the city of Curitiba, state of Paraná, south of Brazil. Both institutions follow the Waldorf education approach. So the participants, 3 mothers of 2 private preschools, mothers of very young and young children recently enrolled in preschool institutions, mothers of different socioeconomic realities and beliefs, women with 35 to 49 years old and from different professional fields. Flavia, one participant, is a psychologist, Anna is an advertising professional, and Amanda is a teacher. Yeah. So the instruments, we used then the micro-phenomenological interview, requesting an evocation of one moment of their child's process of transition to school, one moment only. Field diary records and mothers' notes on experience shared with their sons and daughters. So the data analysis procedures, we follow Petitmengin. 3 specific diachronic structures were built, one generic diachronic structure and one generic synchronic structure. The diachronic structure implies the understanding of the process of self-knowledge over the course of time. This specific moment over the course of time, micro-time. Yeah? While the synchronic structure allows more in-depth analysis of the period of or phase that best characterize the process. The analysis such to compare physical and mental actions, as well as sound, visual, linguistic, and gestural events related to the mother's self-knowledge process experienced during the induction of very young children in a collective daycare and preschool environment. This is the objective of the method. So, the specific diachronic structure of Flavia's. We found 4 phases. The first phase from Flavia, child's calm and agitated environment. Subphase, body energy, agitating sensation and emotions. Phase 2, fear of entering the room. Subphase, feeling anxious, not knowing how it will be. Phase 3, treatment given to the mother from the school. Subphase, mother's image. Maria, a mother's image appears to her, and body gesture. Phase 4, inner calm. Subphase, calm space, image of calm, color, and sound. And a specific diachronic structure. 4 phases also. The first, teacher support at school, subphase reviewing pattern of quick solutions, maternal maturity, firmness. Phase 2, trust in teacher, subphase insecurity about leaving child. Subphase 3, time management, subphase time to be a mother, time for herself. Subphase 4, integration, work, subphase work done by the school, family union, through this work done by the school, and subphase image of sailing inwards. And Amanda, specific diachronic structure, we found 5 phases. First, non-adaptation, because the child was in a previous preschool. Phase 2, mother suffering. Subphase, feeling pain. Subphase 3, deciding to change schools. Phase 4, leaving job. Subphase, child's contentment with mother's presence at home. Subphase, feeling of being together with child. Phase 5, incorporating being a mother. Subphase, doubt about being a mother and having a job. Inner strength, listening to one's body, image of mother's lap, color of a rose, and sensation of peace. The diachronic structures present a process of development that underwent evolution, challenges, personal anguishes, and which were transformed into bodily actions and movements, feelings, thoughts, as also evidenced in the studies conducted by Sin and Sheridan Gabriel and Vercelli Negrão. We examined a pathway of processes of development towards the interiority of each individual, as in the study undertaken by Sen and Lopez. So now the generic diachronic structure, only the line below. Generic diachronic, phase 1 done. Forms of treatment given by school. Phase 2, reactions to forms of treatment. Phase 3, perception of needs. Phase 4, feelings and actions. And phase 5, rediscovery of being a mother. And here, the generic synchronic structure, we have here a semantic network. What best characterizes self-knowledge in the previous, we saw the diachronic phases, and we choose 2 phases, phase 4 and 5, and go deep into these phases to construct this semantic network. You can see here that self-knowledge for the mothers is characterized by visual characteristic, affective cognitive characteristic, and body characteristic. The visual characteristic are expressed through image that has color, form, and sound. Color, rose, form, both on the sea, a mother, a sailing inwards, a mother's lap. And sound that sounds loving. And affective cognitive characteristics are expressed or represented by feelings. Peace and calm are the expression of these feelings. And inner strength is related to an intuitive knowledge. The body characteristic, a perception of the body was present by these mothers. So now we can see that the generic synchronic structure, in all cases, in all cases, we can see self-knowledge is marked by experiences of maternal receptivity to their young children based on bodily perception, images with form, color, sound, in addition to feelings, listening to the body, and the development of an inner strength or confidence. It is in the sense of moving towards intuitive knowledge proper to the gestures of holding, touching, and dialoguing with the baby that the mother begins to identify herself as a mother. In the study, we noted that for someone to become able to describe their experience, they need to become aware of their pre-reflective knowledge. The experience lived and consciously intuited was previously instinctive. Furthermore, we noted how maternal self-knowledge can be brought to consciousness through individual actions imbued with autonomy and freedom when these are connected with their own representations. The process of the mother's self-knowledge was expressed through, as conclusion, visual characteristics, images, affective cognitive characteristics, feelings and inner strength, and bodily characteristics, perception of the body. Since if it is possible to make the sensations, imaginations, and feelings of parental anguish conscious, the results of this study demonstrate how maternal self-knowledge acts on parental bodily and mental development in a conscious way. Maternal experiences showed that not knowing how its induction will be was overcome, showing the maturity of self-knowledge. Maternal self-knowledge about their child's phase of induction and adaptation could be shared more between mothers, since the transformation experienced by the individualities participating in this study demonstrates the importance of dealing with this theme with the necessary preparation for the arrival of the family at daycare center and preschool facilities. Finally, we consider that the first-person method made it possible to revisit the experiences of induction lived with introspection, depth, and inner awareness, as suggested in Petitmengin and Bitbol, and grasp the process of parental self-knowledge. Thank you very much.
Sponsored by the Program for the Evolution of Spirituality.
Copyright 2023, the Preston Fellows of Harvard College.